Let me ask you a real, raw question right now. How many brilliant ideas are locked inside your head? How many plans, dreams, visions? How many of them have you talked about, thought about, dreamed about, but haven't actually acted on? Be honest with yourself. Because here's the truth, and it's one of the most powerful truths you'll ever hear. Ideas don't work unless you do. See, we live in a world that glorifies the idea. We love brainstorming, vision boarding, strategizing. We love talking about our goals like they're already achieved. And don't get me wrong, vision matters. But vision without execution, that's just imagination. You want to change your life? You want to build something that outlives you? You want to go from where you are to where you're meant to be? Then you've got to do the work. Not someday. Not when it's convenient. Not when the stars align. Now, because the harsh reality is, the world doesn't reward ideas. It rewards results. Let me take you back to something I'll never forget. Years ago, I was coaching an entrepreneur. Brilliant guy. Had ideas that could change industries. Every time we met, he'd show me notebooks filled with concepts, blueprints, product designs. But 6 months in, nothing launched, nothing tested, nothing shipped. So I asked him straight up, "Why haven't you executed?" He said, "I'm still perfecting the idea." I said, "No, you're hiding behind the idea." And that's what so many people do. We think the fear is failure. Except exaggeration, 0.55, rate 101%. But the real fear, it's success. Because success requires responsibility. It demands effort. It puts you on the hook. When you're just thinking and planning, you're safe. But the moment you step in the arena, boom! Now it's real. But here's the deal. Nothing great is ever built in your comfort zone. And you don't need perfect to begin. You just need momentum. Write this down in your mind. Motion creates emotion. When you move, when you act, when you push past resistance, something wakes up inside of you. And it's in that space where confidence is built. Nobody gets confident by sitting still. You build it by doing. Think of a rocket ship. 90% of the fuel is used just to break through the atmosphere. That's what taking action feels like. The beginning is heavy, it's uncomfortable, it burns. But once you break through that resistance, once you hit orbit, momentum takes over. But most people never get past the launch pad. You know why? Because they wait. They wait for clarity. They wait for motivation. They wait for certainty. Let me tell you something. Clarity comes from engagement, not thought. You don't think your way into greatness. You act your way into it. That dream business? Start it. That fitness goal? Get to the gym. That book you want to write? Open a blank page and type the first sentence. Is it going to be amazing right away? No. But it's going to be real. And real beats perfect every single day. What if I fail? Good. Fail fast. Fail forward. Because every failure is just data. Feedback. It's not a dead end. It's a redirection. The most successful people on earth, they didn't get there by avoiding mistakes. They got there by making more of them. and learning fast. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before he created the light bulb. When asked about it, he said, "I didn't fail. I just found 1,000 ways that didn't work." That's the mindset of a builder, a leader, a doer. You want to win in life? You've got to be willing to look stupid. You've got to be willing to do it messy, scared, and unpolished, because messy action will always beat perfect inaction. And let me tell you something else. When you start moving, the world responds. Doors open, people show up, opportunities arise. But they only reveal themselves to the person who moves. When I was building my brand, nobody handed me a playbook. Nobody gave me permission. I didn't wait to be discovered. I decided to act. I put in the reps. I made the calls. I gave the talks, even when 5 people showed up. And that energy, that commitment, compounded into momentum. You want that kind of growth in your life? Then stop negotiating with your excuses. We all have reasons to wait. We're busy. We're tired. We've got bills, families, obligations. I get it. But here's the reality. If it's important, you make time. If it's not, you make excuses. The question is, how bad do you want it? I'm not here to motivate you for a few minutes. I'm here to challenge you, because your future is on the line. Every day you delay is a day you don't get back. Every time you talk instead of do, you're robbing your future self of growth, of freedom, of mastery. So here's the shift I want you to make right now in this moment. Stop saying, "I wish." Start saying, "I will." Stop saying, "I hope." Start saying, "I commit." Stop saying, "one day." Start saying, "day one." Right now is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not next Monday. Not when the fear goes away. Fear doesn't disappear, but you can walk forward with it. You're not here to play small. You're not here to collect ideas. You're here to execute, to impact, to leave your fingerprints on this world. And I promise you this, when you commit to consistent action, even if it's small, your life will transform, not just in the results, but in how you see yourself. You'll go from, "Can I really do this?" to, "I am doing this." You'll stop asking for permission and start owning your power. Because you'll finally realize the only thing standing between you and your next level is the work you're avoiding. And when you stepped into it with courage and conviction, you become unstoppable. Let me tell you something powerful. Motion changes emotion. When you're stuck in your head, swimming in anxiety, overthinking every detail, you're feeding fear. But the second you start moving even one step forward, you begin to shift. Not just in your body, but in your identity. Let me share a real-time story of transformation. A young man came up to me after a seminar in Atlanta. His name was Marcus, 24 years old, smart, passionate, and totally paralyzed. He had this idea, an app that could revolutionize local food delivery by cutting third-party fees and supporting small businesses. He'd been thinking about it for 3 years. You know what stopped him? Not money, not skills, not time. It was waiting to feel ready. So I asked him, "What's one step you could take today?" He said, "I guess I could reach out to a local developer I know." I said, "Do it now. Not tomorrow, now. He texted that developer right there in the room. Fast forward 12 months. Marcus has a working beta, 50 local restaurants on board, and he just closed his first round of angel funding. Not because he had all the answers, because he took action before he felt ready. And that's what separates those who talk from those who transform. Let's get this straight. Readiness is a myth. Nobody ever feels 100% ready to chase a dream, start a business, leave a toxic relationship, or change their life. You become ready through action. The more you do, the more confident you get. The more confident you get, the more momentum you build. And that momentum becomes the engine that drives results. But you can't think your way into that. You've got to move. And I know what you're thinking. But Tony, I don't have the time. Let me stop you right there. You do have the time. What you don't have is the habit. We make time for Netflix, for scrolling, for drama, for distraction. But when it's time to show up for our goals, suddenly we are too busy. No, you're not too busy. You're out of alignment. And it's time to realign your life with what actually matters. Wake up an hour earlier. Cut the noise. Schedule your priorities instead of prioritizing your schedule. This isn't about hustle culture. This is about ownership. Because your dreams aren't going to chase you. You have to become the person who shows up for them, even when it's inconvenient. Especially when it's inconvenient. Let's talk about another real-world example. I coached a woman named Elena who had been working as an executive assistant for over a decade. Smart, resourceful, always had a desire to start her own virtual support. But she kept waiting for the kids to get older, for the job to get easier, for the right moment. Then one day, her company downsized, and she was laid off. No warning, no cushion. Guess what she did? She launched her business that same week. Not because she suddenly had everything in place, but because she had no choice. And sometimes that's what it takes. But why wait for a crisis? Why wait for life to force your hand? Why not choose to act before you're pushed? That's what leaders do. They don't wait for permission. They don't wait for the market or the economy or other people to believe in them. They decide. And then they act over and over again, because that's what turns a spark into a fire. Let's talk about the unsung hero of all action. The unsung hero of all action. You want the truth? Motivation is fleeting. You're not always going to feel inspired. Some days, you're not going to want to show up. Some mornings, the doubt will scream louder than your dreams. But that's where discipline steps in. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. It's showing up when no one's watching. Whatever it is, do it now. Not next week. Not when you have time. Now. Because this isn't about hype. This is about identity. This is about becoming someone who executes. And when you do that, you don't just change your life, you change everyone around you. Your family, your friends, your team, your legacy. Because when you rise, you give others permission to rise with you. You know what the most dangerous place in the world is. It's not a war zone. It's not a dark alley. It's the graveyard of ideas. Because in that space, buried beneath the soil of fear and procrastination, lie millions of dreams that never saw the light of day.
Businesses never started, books never written, movements never led, relationships never healed, talents never expressed. Why? Not because those people lacked vision, but because they lacked the courage to act. Don't let that be your story. Don't go to your grave with your best work still inside you. Don't let what could have been be the only thing that defines your life. You weren't born to play small. You were born to build, to create, to lead, to leave a mark. But you can't leave a legacy if you're still trying to be comfortable. It's time to choose comfort or growth, because you can't have both. You can either protect your pride or pursue your purpose. You can either wait for the right conditions or decide that you are the condition. I've seen people rise from rock bottom to unshakable greatness, not because they had more resources, but because they became resourceful. They acted. They acted with fear in their throat. They acted with no money in their account. They acted without support. They acted in the dark, unsure, unqualified, but they kept moving, and the action pulled them into the light. It's like this. Life is a staircase, but most people are waiting to see the whole thing before taking the first step. That's not how it works. You take the first step, and only then does the second one reveal itself. You act, and the path begins to unfold. But no one gets to the top by standing still at the bottom talking about how great the view must be. You want a breakthrough? Then move. Break the cycle of overthinking. Break the addiction to perfection. Break the chains of fear. And move. Because action, real, consistent, focused action, has a way of rewriting your story. Let's say you failed before. Good. That failure taught you something. Now move. Maybe people doubted you. Good. Let that doubt fuel your drive. Now move. Maybe you're tired. Good. That means you've been fighting. Now move again. Every person you admire, every world changer, every trailblazer, they all faced resistance. They all wanted to quit at some point, but they didn't. Why? Because their mission mattered more than their excuses. And now, I want to talk to you, the one listening, reading this, sitting on a dream that's been burning in your heart for years. You keep telling yourself, one day, I'll do it. Let me give you a reality check. One day is not a day on the calendar. There is no perfect time. There is no green light. The only permission you need is the one you give yourself. So give it. Decide. Decide right now that you will be the kind of person who follows through. Decide that you're done with waiting. Decide that you're done with almost. No more, almost started. No more, almost applied. No more, almost launched. Now is your time. And I want you to write this somewhere. You'll see it every day. Ideas don't work unless I do. Make that your mantra. Make that your code. Make that the standard you hold yourself to daily. Because success doesn't belong to the smartest. It doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the relentless. To those who keep showing up. To those who take the hits and keep swinging. To those who are done talking and ready to build. Let me leave you with one final story. There was a janitor in a small university in Ohio. His name was James. No fancy degree. No big network. Just a dream. He wanted to help underprivileged kids learn how to code. He started with an old laptop in the back room of a community center. Every week, 2 kids showed up, then 5, then 10. He kept showing up, rain or shine, no pay, no attention. But he acted, consistently, relentlessly. Today, that tiny program is a national nonprofit teaching thousands of kids across the country. And James? He's now leading tech workshops for Fortune 500 companies, not because he had an idea, but because he moved on it. He didn't need credentials. He needed courage. He didn't need luck. He needed grit. He didn't wait for someone else to solve the problem. He became the solution. So can you. Let the world see what you're capable of, not just what you're dreaming about. Let the world experience your genius, not just your intentions. Because you were not born to sit on the sidelines of your own life. You were born to play full out. And the game doesn't start when you're ready. It starts when you stand up. So stand up. Right now. Draw a line in the sand. Declare it. Today is the day I stop thinking and start doing. Today is the day I stop waiting and start winning. Because you've got something inside of you that the world needs. But we'll never see it if you don't act. So do the work. Even when it's hard. Even when it's slow. Even when no one's watching. And I promise you, when you choose action over excuses, consistency over comfort, progress over perfection, you won't just change your outcomes. You'll change your identity. You'll become the kind of person who follows through, who creates, who leads, who finishes. That's what this world needs. Not more dreamers, more doers. And that, my friend, is who you are. So go. Start now. Your legacy is waiting.